Welcome to Takeover, the most underrated sports debate show on YouTube, where we got more slaps than Will Smith. I had to throw it in there.
People tell me that I'm the corny one.
I had to throw it in there.
They tell me I'm the corny one.
Deandre's taking personal leave, so it's just me and what's your name again?
Well, Cam, they should already know who I am because they should be watching the show. But just in case they're new or they don't keep up with the greatest show and most underrated show on YouTube, my name is Josh.
It's your boy Cam, and this is Takeover.
Yo, hey champ. Yo, we play it all in night. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition already ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Park it right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Nothing holding me back. 3 in the wood. Rush.
So, bombshell report dropped about a couple days ago. The NFL is making a massive change to their overtime rules, specifically in the playoffs. Now, each team will be guaranteed one chance to possess the ball. Cam, what is your opinion of this rule change?
You know how how you're always, you say, as they know, your name is Josh, right?
Yeah.
As you know, on this show, I awfully say a lot. Offense wins championships nowadays in football. I don't like saying that, but it's the truth. And this is the most disrespectful gesture towards defense I've ever seen. They've already stripped defense away. You can't hit anybody. You can't touch anybody. You can't touch the quarterback at all. Now they've stripped the dignity away from the defensive side of the football. What's the point of having a Aaron Donald, a Jalen Ramsey, a TJ Watt, a Myles Garrett, people you pay this amount of money if they can't get one stop? If they can't get one stop, why are we paying them this much? If they can't do what they need to do when the game's on the line, what's the point of defense? I don't want to hear it. People want to talk about Josh Allen and not getting a chance to get on the field. He was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't get back on the field. I wish I had another chance. He should have wished his defense stopped Patrick Mahomes like the Bengals defense did. That's what he should have wished. And I feel like they're taking away the pressure out of the game of football. You're gonna tell a defense that, we can be lax now. We can let up a touchdown because our offense is gonna give a chance. Where's the pressure come from now? What's the aspect of we have to do this right now? It takes away the moment of right now, and it diminishes the greatness of these football players. I don't want to hear football players of now being compared to the early 2000s football players anymore. I don't want to ever hear Jalen Ramsey's name in there with a Darrelle Revis. I don't want to hear any other, because look, when it was time to make stops, they made the stops, and they did it when it happened on the one time they did it. Do you remember when Matt Hasselbeck won the overtime toss and said, we want the ball and we're going to score? Yeah. What happened the following play?
Pick six.
Exactly. Al Harris took it all the way back. That put Al Harris' name on the map because he did that right there. You're taking away that part of the game. So when the Bengals are able, because when the Bengals didn't even have as good of a defense as the Bills, when they're able to do it, it's normal. When the Rams picked off Breeze in 2018, although they had that call before, they did it then. If your defense isn't good enough, then maybe you should pay more attention to defense. But don't tell me that we need to add this portion where the offense can score again, because what's the point of having these guys that you pay this amount of money to if they're not going to get a stop when they need to? I don't want to hear it. I don't like the rule.
So first of all, I actually do have an interesting question. On a pick six, would that end the game still?
In a way, yeah.
Because realistically, if the whole idea is, each team is guaranteed one possession, if you do a pick six, the Seahawks get the ball back.
Sure.
So I guess
doesn't mean you. I'm just saying a pick six is a definition, but that's not. It's
no. I'm not going against you. I'm genuinely wondering under this new rule, because technically the Packers
you get two possessions, then that's two possessions.
So technically the Packers haven't possessed the ball. So do the Seahawks then get another chance to? Because they've already had their possession, but the Packers haven't had theirs.
No, I feel like that's
an interesting loophole that I'm curious about. There's probably something in there. I just haven't read the whole thing. Anyway, I'm on the opposite side of you, and I don't necessarily come at it with any kind of bias. I just enjoy football. I'm not necessarily an offense or a defense guy. I just tell you what the stats tell me. I think you're kind of overselling the idea of why do we pay these guys if they're not going to have to get a stop right now. They still have to get the stop, Cam. If your offense scores and then the other team gets the ball, you have to make the stop so that the game doesn't continue.
It takes the pressure off the game.
I don't think it takes the pressure off the game because there's still so much at stake. If you're on defense first, you've got to stop them so that then your offense is set up to be even easier to where they just have to kick a field goal to win the game. Back to the days of yore. Or if you're on defense second and, your offense has already scored. Now the pressure's on you to get the stop to finish the game, because if you don't get the stop, then now we go into sudden death. So I think you're kind of overselling the idea of there's no more pressure with this whole the defense can just give it up and it doesn't matter. No, because trust me, as someone who has watched a very bad team, you want to end the game as quickly as possible. So I'm going to bring up you already said the Josh Allen and whatnot, but there are other examples. So first of all, ever since that rule change in 2010, where it said that a touchdown has to win the game as opposed to just like the first team to score, there's been 12 playoff games that have gone to overtime, and 7 of them have ended on the first drive.
That's fine.
So more than half of these games are ending without the other team getting a chance to match. And it's already an even game considering they're tied at the end of regulation. So they should get the chance to go blow for blow, punch for punch. And trust me, as a Falcons fan, this hits closer to home because it sucked watching the Patriots come back from that and in overtime knowing if they win this coin toss, the game's over. Because that defense was gassed. They already played 90-plus snaps, and then they had to stop Tom Brady again, which they hadn't been able to do because they were so tired, because Kyle Shanahan couldn't run the ball. It's one of those things where you've had multiple examples in the playoffs where MVPs have not been able to touch the ball in overtime because of a 50-50 shot on a coin flip.
Can I respond to that?
Sure, go ahead.
So what? Who cares? This is the problem with this generation. Not everything has to be fair. Not all has to be fair. Everyone doesn't have to have their fair shot, their fair chance. Because at the same time, why can't the defense be held to that responsibility? Why can't we make the stop right now? Why can't we rise to the occasion?
Well, now you still can make the stop right now, and then you just set your offense up for an easier shot.
No, but because this rule, it takes away that point. We don't have to make the stop right now because our offense can score. Our offense can score. I have a high-scoring offense. Do we need to make the stop right now? Who knows? Because let's say they score and then the other offense goes for 2 and the game's over. So look, this is what I'm saying. Not everything has to be fair. The defense should be able to rise up to the occasion. TJ Watt getting paid all that money should be able to rise up to the occasion. These cornerbacks, they're supposed to show us in the NFL, especially on defense, why we can't go out there and do what they do. And this would be a perfect time to do it. This is one drive. They're not going to cross the 50 because we're better than them. And they're taking away that aspect out of the game. And I don't like that. Because it takes away all the things that defenses make, what makes defenses great.
I'm just of the opinion that sudden death, overtime specifically in sports, to me it's just not enjoyable. It's like it's this weird thing. It's like it works in hockey because more often than not, every team gets multiple shots to score.
Yeah.
But college football, both teams get a chance. Baseball, you play the whole inning. Basketball, you play 5 minutes and whoever's up is done. The idea of sudden death overtime to me is inherently flawed because it gives another team an oversized advantage because they can, especially before this original rule change of the touchdown, you could just drive 30 yards, get a field goal, and the game is over. To me, that's just not enjoyable. But
okay.
I get what you're saying, and I don't necessarily think it's something that's gonna I'm gonna boycott the NFL over. It's just it is what it is. I feel like I see what they're going for because the NFL is just trying to become more and more of an offensive-based game. So in this case, they give the ball in the hands of the offense more, so you get a chance for more highlight plays at the end of the game as opposed to the boring old sacks.
But I'm saying it takes away all the fun of the defense, though.
Yeah, but Cam, they've been taking away the fun of defense for the past 5 years.
So I have a defense. That's what I'm saying. It's the biggest slap in the face to defense I've ever seen.
No, the biggest slap in the face to the defense is the fact that they can't land with their full body weight on quarterbacks anymore. That's a slap in the face.
Defense is going to be stingy. You won't be able to hit nobody. You won't be able to do anything.
Oh, hey, listen, in 5 years, quarterbacks are going to be wearing flags around their waist.
It's crazy. Switching to basketball, the Western Conference maybe not as tough as the East, but it's kind of top heavy. With really 3 or 4 teams kind of mounting their way at the top and everyone else kind of shivering their way at the bottom. Josh, as of right now, who do you think the best team in the Western Conference
there's only one correct answer to this, and I want to hear what you have to say because if you don't say this team, then I feel like you're looking at something through rose-tinted glasses. You have to have some hell of a good reason for you to not pick the Phoenix Suns because the Phoenix Suns have been singularly dominant all season. They have an 8.5 game lead over the next team in the West. They've already won 60 games. And even I can bring up stats. And I can bring up the fact that they're second in offensive efficiency and second in defensive efficiency. I can bring up plenty of those numbers. But let's instead look at the player by player type thing. Just look at their entire roster. You've got 2 stars who you want to have the ball in their hands, in CP3 and Devin Booker. One to orchestrate the offense at a galaxy brain level, and the other to be a stone cold killer on offense. You've got an elite level defender in Mikal Bridges who can hit an open jump shot and is starting to get to the point where he can attack off the dribble.
I like Mikal.
You've got a do-everything center who might be the best kept secret in the league in DeAndre Ayton because he's putting up 17 and 10 on 65% shooting and nobody mentions it. Now, he's not going to carry a team, but as a third option, he is a hell of a good choice. And then you've got shooters all over the place in Cam Johnson, Landry Shamet, and Aaron Holiday, who, by the way, is shooting 54% on the team since coming over in a trade from three. And then you've also got depth all over the bench and guys like Torrey Craig, who's another solid wing defender to throw at somebody. You've got Jay Crowder, who is got the bulldog mentality. You've got JaVale McGee, who's a good rim protector. You've got Frank Kaminsky, who's a stretch big. Cameron Payne, who went crazy in the playoffs last year and can run an offense and get you some lightning quick buckets. I don't see how any team in the West right now is really going to compete with this team.
What you said was cute, and as you know I'm gonna disagree with you. I don't believe in Chris Paul. I'm gonna say right here, I don't believe in. When it comes to playoff time, something's gonna happen to Chris Paul. I'm not gonna wear that doesn't, but look, he's always getting hurt. It's always an excuse. He hasn't shown up. They had 2-0 versus the Bucks. He didn't show up. He should have won last year. He didn't show up. He did not show up.
Can't it just be that Giannis went nuclear?
No. Because he was up 2-0. And now Giannis was coming off an injury.
Giannis
he
put 50 on him.
didn't show up.
Bro.
D-Book, he's a baller. But I don't believe in them come showtime. Because it was Christmas showtime. They had the Warriors. What happened? Steph Curry took over the show. That's what happened. And that's why the Golden State Warriors are still the best team in the West. Even with Steph coming off injury. Because he's going to be back come playoff time. And believe it or not, you talking about the Suns and all these other players, who has the most reliable big three in the league? It's still the Golden State Warriors with Steph, Clay, and Dre. They still can shoot the lights out of the basketball. And you want to talk about defense? Oh, they play defense too. Everyone, look, you gotta look at this team stats. They rank top 5 in points allowed, and they're top 5 in total defense. And you look at what they have off the bench. They're deep too. Kuminga can play defense, and he attacks the rim very violently. You got Gary Payton II, a guy who hugs. Jordan Poole, in the absence of Steph Curry, is averaging 19 points right now. Iggy is still a vet. They still have the chemistry going, and I just trust them more than anybody else because I've seen Chris Paul fold. I've seen these type of things happen, and I don't trust them down the stretch like I trust Steph, Dre, and Clay. So I'm gonna take the Warriors because of their ability to shoot the ball. They have the greatest shooter in the league. They still got Klay Thompson. They got Draymond Green. These guys hustle. These guys get to it. They play defense. That's been the strategy to win the NBA championship for the past 5 years, and they're going to do it again this time. I wouldn't be surprised if the Golden State Warriors took this home because I believe they're the best team in the West, and they might be the best team in the league despite the record because they've dealt with injuries.
And it's the injuries, Cam, that tell me that they're not the best team in the league. Because respectfully, this might be the worst season we've seen from Steph Curry in a while. I mean, he's shooting 43% from the field. He's shooting 38% from three, which actually sounds good for like the average player, but it's very un-Steph-like to shoot under 40% from three. Really? Not to mention, first of all, Steph's coming off a foot injury, which he has a history of. And on top of that, Draymond Green has had some injury problems this season. Not to mention, Klay Thompson's still working his way back from injury, and he's at 42 and 37 from the field. And outside of those three, because there's some question marks, I feel like the window's closed for them. And I hate to say it, I feel like they just missed it. They just missed it by a year. I think Jordan Poole is a great find, but I don't think Jordan Poole is enough to offset the fact that Curry has had something of a shooting slump through the second half of the season. Klay Thompson is still kind of playing his way back into his complete form. Now, 75% of Klay Thompson is still a very valuable player, but he's also taking where was it? He's taking almost 17 shots a game, which is very un-Klay-like from what I understand. Not to mention Andrew Wiggins has kind of been he's 17 because Steph has been hurt. He's not Andrew Wiggins isn't exactly the same player as he was when he got voted. Well, he's fallen off slightly. And listen, I'm not saying they're a bad team. I think they can go to the Western Conference Finals. I just don't think that this team is the title contender that you make it out to be, let alone the best team in the NBA. I think that's hearsay. You can say that's hearsay, and you can name up all these stats, but if it came down to a Game 7 in Phoenix, and Steph, Clay, and Dre are suited up, I don't care. Who says it's going to Game 7? Who says it's going to Game 7?
The Warriors might beat them in 6. The Warriors might beat them in 6.
Nah, bro.
I don't understand. understand. Where's all this faith coming from the Suns team?
Because they went to the finals last year.
Yeah, and it was highly benefited. You wanna know why? Because Kawhi didn't play in that Western Conference Finals either. They were highly benefited off of that too. So I don't want to hear that from the Suns. I don't watch the Warriors walk into that Western Conference Finals. And I want to see what Chris Paul does. Chris Paul can win in the regular season. I've seen him make strides in the playoffs. But when it really matters, he folds all the time. And then you can't give me a documented when he hasn't.
When he went to the finals, but
he did fold. He was up 2-0.
Okay.
He was up 2-0.
Is it really folding when someone turns in a supernatural performance?
Yeah, it's folding.
I don't think it's folding.
You were up 2-0. You had all the momentum going in that series.
It's just because you're up 2-0. I mean, if Giannis just kind of puts his head down and decides on winning the series, I don't think that there's much that you can really do about that. Considering that man was putting 50 and 15
Did Chris Paul
on
not
him.
disappear during the stretch? During the stretch of those
He
games?
was still putting 50 and 15 on him.
You said 50 and 15. No, but I'm talking about Chris Paul. I'm talking about the leader of their team,
But
Chris
even
Paul.
if Chris Paul showed up, even if
Chris Paul show up, even if he did, okay, go ahead, finish.
Is Curry going to be healthy? Is Klay Thompson going to be
Curry have to be 100% healthy for them to beat them? I don't think so.
Is Draymond Green going to continue to play at this level?
I think Draymond Green's progressively going to get better. I think he just came off an injury, so I think by the time playoffs time, he's going to be there.
Listen, I wanted to root for the Warriors, but there's something about it. I feel like they just missed it by a year. I think the age is going to start to catch up to them, and I don't think that they're that team anymore.
Chris Paul hasn't shown us that he's that guy. He wins playoff series. When it comes to the big game, something always happens to him. I think that's kind of weird sometimes.
All right, bro.
And that's gonna wrap our episode. Josh, you have anything to say? Wait. I'm sure D'Angelo wanted us to everybody listening to watch out for the Grizzlies. Watch out for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, if they don't have John Morant.
Yeah.
17-2. Man, the best time of the year is coming soon. In a few days, and actually a week from when we're recording this video, the greatest sport on the world is going to start their season.
Football starts back in a week.
Nah, man, baseball. Opening day is coming up, and the Braves are about to defend this title. So as of now, and up until November, when somebody, if somebody dethrones them, talking about the reigning, defending world champions, Atlanta Braves. Put some respect on that name. Broke the narrative.
I wonder what the narrative is going to be with the Dodgers this year. You know what I'm saying? But that's
going to always been. The Dodgers are the MLB version of Chris Paul in your mind. They just can't seem to. They won their Mickey Mouse ring, but they can't seem to win the big.
They beat y'all when it mattered.
Not last year, they didn't.
I'm just saying, but they beat y'all before. Didn't y'all have a lead? Y'all was the version of Chris Paul
in their Mickey Mouse ring.
We have to wrap up this episode.
Their Mickey Mouse ring.
That's gonna wrap it up. Takeover out.
For it like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up.
I got Mickey Mouse ring. Now it's a Mickey Mouse ring.
Mickey Mouse, 60 games. That's a Mickey Mouse ring.
Did y'all not blow the lead? The series
60 games is a Mickey Mouse ring.
Did y'all not blow
If the bubble is a Mickey Mouse ring,
I don't count it as a Mickey Mouse ring.
We blew it, but if the bubble was a Mickey Mouse ring,
but y'all blew the lead. Y'all should have won the series.
Mickey Mouse.
I want to hear that. Y'all should have won.
Mickey Mouse.
Y'all didn't win. Y'all lost.
Mickey Mouse.
Y'all lost.
Mickey Mouse.
So